No, I mean, people, they gotta get away from that computer. They gotta put that phone down. Listen, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
We all want everybody to I hope you want everybody to prosper.
I'm Josiah.
And I'm Adam.
We are Salida GunShop. Today we have Ethan Smith. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Another mayoral candidate for Salida. And I've got a few topics that I kind of want to talk about, but I also want to know a little bit more about you.
Sure.
Like, one, why running for mayor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Panama City, Florida, the Panhandle. Moved out here. Well, I came out here in 2012. Loved the place. Came back in 2013, 2016, and then 2018. I've been here full time. I was out here just for the summer. A buddy of mine bought a mountain bike timing system, like all wireless, fancy. He's like, hey man, you know computers, come back out to Salida and run this thing for me. So we toured around the state. We were in, New Mexico, Arizona, all these bike towns, running races, and that was a lot of fun. And I was headed back to Florida, and I was like, I'm gonna wait on this storm, and it was Hurricane Michael, and it completely, that was October 12th, 2018, completely obliterated my hometown. A third of the housing stock was gone. I mean, I'm talking, pine trees this big around, snapped in half. Every power pole in town was snapped in half. They had sustained winds of 165 miles an hour with gusts over 200. And they say over 200 because the wind instrument that they were measuring was ripped off of the side of a brick building. So, I mean, it was, who knows, it could have been 220, 230.
Gosh.
So everything I didn't bring out here with me that summer in my car was gone. Everything I had was either at my girlfriend's house at the time or in my storage shed at my parents' house. Just, all my surfboards, my bicycle, everything. So,
Oh my God.
I mean, I went back in December, to check on my family. My best friend in Florida, Jessica Johnson, would drive out of town because there were no cell phone towers. I'm talking, it was like a complete reset. And she'd call me and she's like, hey, I stopped by your parents. That means a lot to me. My friends were checking in on my family. So it was just like, I guess I'm going to stay in Salida, and could not be, I joke around that I got stuck here, but it's like, dude, this is the best place ever. I was clawing my way here. Jason LaPointe used to run IT for the county, was like, hey man, I'll give you a place to stay. You come work with me. We'll run the county's computers, because he knew I had like a tech background. And dude, we did it, just the two of us for years and years. I mean, I'm talking the server maintenance, emails, printers, for every single department in the county. I knew everyone, the county commissioners, every department head. I mean, all the staff for every department on a first name basis. And that was amazing. Just got to meet the people that are running, the big picture. And that's kind of how I got started.
Not like just meeting them, but actually supporting them to get the things done that they're
Absolutely.
supposed to.
No, and I mean, it was, I don't want to say benevolent, but no, I felt like I was really making an impact. I'm like,
awesome.
Listen, I don't like computers. They're complicated, they're fickle. So somebody that doesn't have an IT background, I'm like, listen, I get it. I'm here to help. And it was really, the county did not have an IT department, and we were subcontractors working for they do now. Danny Gallegos and a couple other guys, and they're doing a great job. But it was just putting out fires. It's like, what are we doing today? What are we doing today? Over here, we're getting this call over there. So, it was a real dynamic job. You never knew what you were going to get into. And we had an office on E Street, but we kind of hung out in the clerk's office. That was kind of our home base. We'd be at the clerk's office and then get called upstairs for legal, or downstairs to go to Road and Bridge. And I met Lori Mitchell there, the county clerk. And because they have the Dominion voting system and mail-in ballots and all this, they needed IT support on that side. So I jumped into elections in 2018, which was just transformative, man. I was like, I care about democracy. I'm passionate about America, but working behind the scenes, seeing how all this stuff works. and the naysayers, this, you know, voter fraud and all this. And it's like, no, dude, I have seen it. It is bulletproof from the, you know, bipartisan ballot pickups. You know, I'm registered unaffiliated in Colorado, but you'd always have a Republican and Democrat, or, you know, a combination of two of the three. So, I mean, everybody's watching everybody's back. We're all there to make sure every ballot gets counted, everybody's vote counts. And that was great. I have worked every election except this one, obviously. You know, I'm on the ballot. But yeah, I mean, if you're not hyped on, you know, voting or the democratic process, talk to Lori Mitchell, and if you know, check your pulse after you get into it, because she is passionate. I mean, completely professional, has an answer to, you know, almost anything you got a question. I mean, she is on the front line of making sure this democratic process works, and you know, I love her. You know, I'd be working for her right now if I wasn't on the ballot. So, no, that was awesome. Soup to nuts, you know, scanning the ballots, signature verification, you know, where people sign their ballots. It was cool, man. It was a really informative, you know, instrumental process of the IT side of things. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Dang.
And then
Wild.
Yeah. So then COVID hits. And I think it was Debbie Fessenmeyer. She was like the admin secretary or public affairs, I forget her title. She's like, hey, they need you to run a Zoom meeting. And I said, what the hell is Zoom? Those are my exact words. And, you know, I mean, I know Skype and, you know, FaceTime and all these other meeting programs. But no, we got this Zoom. So I got in there and, you know, they were shutting down the county building, the courthouse the next day. And dude, I was in that room. We ran the meeting. There were kind of a couple glitches and stuff. We had audio feedback, but you know, I worked out the kinks. They're like, we need you to make this work like 100%. So I got design, you know, the room. I got these meeting owls, you know, that talk to each other. The camera will face whoever's talking to. If there's 3 people talking, it'll split the screen. And they were so cool when they had just come out. He worked for CMC. He's retired now, or he moved on. But he had the owl and he let me borrow it. And I'm like, this thing's awesome. And then you could pair them where they would talk. So I built a computer just for it. I had 4 monitors, you know, one for the PowerPoints, and then, you know, the chat room, which was lively at times, and then, you know, presentations on one. And, you know, I'd put it up on the big screen so the public could see. And then public comment, I'd have the 3-minute timer, just this ominous, huge timer. And I remember people, they were like, oh, this is bad for, you know, democracy. This is bad for freedom of speech and all this, because we can't actually assemble in person at these meetings. Let me tell you, those chat rooms and the people joining, I mean, it was hundreds of people at times. And that was far more that could even fit in that room. So I'm like, this is great. People are at home. They got nothing better to do. They're sheltering in place, or whatever the verbiage was at the time. But they were tuned in, man. I think it was like, it kind of bolstered the, you know, the public's interaction with government. I thought it was great. You know, I mean, I was talking to people in the chat rooms. You know, I ran a tight ship. You know, nobody could unmute unless I let them, because the people would interrupt. And I'd look at Greg Felt and he'd give me the nod or the, no, you know. So no, I played a part in kind of moderating that. And I'm telling you, it was like, you know, you get your car like, morning, Greg, morning, Rusty, morning, Keith. You know, it was just like, dude, I was living with those guys in that room, and they had the you know, 5 p.m. COVID discussion, you know, where all the department heads were like, hey, this is what's going on. Because nobody knew what the hell was going on. It was like, what is next, man? You know, the freaking coroner's report, that was tough, man. You know, we had PT would call in, give the city report, or what's his name? Oh my God. Christy Doon is the administrator now. What's his name? I can't think. I can see his face. Anyway, he would do, you know, the financials and stuff. And no, it was great, man. That was like, back to your question. That was kind of it, you know, just sitting there with those guys every day, especially Greg Felt, because, you know, he's kind of like, he sat in the middle. He's kind of running the meetings. I was like, this guy really cares about what's going on, about the county. I mean, really, you could see it on his face when he was thinking deeply about something, you'd always have like, some calm, collected response. And it's like, dude, I want to do something like that.
Yeah.
And, I was still drinking at the time a bit. I've sobered up about 2 years ago now. And that's what was holding me back. I was like, dude, I drink too much, waste a lot of time partying. And now it's like, I'm clear-headed, I'm focused. This is it. This is my time. I don't know if it's a calling or whatever, but, I reached out to a lot of people that I value their opinions, people I look up to. And they're like, dude, you should do it. Put yourself out there. I know who you are. I know you can do a great job. So that's it, man.
Yeah.
I'm in it now. And,
Nice.
win, lose, or draw, I swear this experience has been like nothing I've ever done. Clearly I've never run for office before, but just knocking door to door, talking to the people, in the town that I live in, and them just dumping it on me and us going back, talking about, discussing hot topics and stuff. It's like, dude, I would never give that up. It has been a really awesome experience. And people, all my friends and family cheering me on. It's like, yeah, dude, I can do this. I'm telling you, it's just been an amazing experience. Anybody that's watching this, do it. Get out there, put yourself out there, and give back to the town that has given you so much. And that's kind of my platform. Man, I've been enjoying this town on and off for 13 years now. If I get elected mayor, I'm giving right back to it. It's what these guys want, the voters, every vote matters, every tax dollar matters. And that's what I want to do. Give back.
That's a good segue into I think one of the bigger ballot issues is that lodging tax.
Sure, yeah.
And then originally I think in the interview with the Voice, of Ark Valley Voice, you mentioned we need more information. Like, has there, since that conversation or that article, have you gleaned any more information, or is it really like they didn't do any stakeholding for this?
Yeah, I mean, every person I talk to that's more of an expert on the subject, I get a different answer every time. And, God bless Mark Stacy and the road and bridge guys. I know a lot of that lodging tax is good. They need the money. I mean, the roads in Chaffee County are awesome. I'd love to see them keep it up that way. Dennis and Carmel, all those guys out there, they run a tight ship. I respect them all. So I don't know if the money should come. I mean, if 1A does pass, that's great, and they get the money that's being said it's going to be there. But
was that 35%?
35%. Yeah, and everyone throws around that word government transparency, and it's like, I want, as a taxpayer, I want to see it too. I want to see you guys like, show me the money. Where is it going? How much is going to these guys? You keep saying these things, and I've talked to other people that are like, the county's not spending the money wisely. Why are we going to give them more? So, it's still, I still don't know how I'm going to vote on it. I got a couple days. I haven't cast my ballot yet, but.
Has there been any transparency, like asking, like, where's that money going? Has there been a wall that's been put up when that question is asked, or is it like, well, this is where it's going, and nobody wants to see that it's actually being used for X, Y, Z?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any solid numbers from the commissioner meetings or anything like that. So
they posted something recently on some of the social media platforms.
Okay.
That had kind of a breakdown of like where most of it will go. A lot of it seems like it is going towards road and bridge.
Yeah.
Really what it looks like is to really offset gas tax that's not changed, right? Yeah. Or I might be wrong on that, but there is a piece of the Colorado like tax, gas tax that hasn't been changed. So like the road and bridge people have not gotten anything for.
That was something that PT brought up.
Yeah,
right?
Long time.
Yeah, no, and they need to. We got to keep them up with the times, man. I mean, I remember, Mark telling us, well, the price of petroleum's going up, asphalt's more expensive, the road base, all this, and it's like, I mean, you got to have like a minor in economics to manage, what's going on. So.
Yeah, and I saw that the 1A stuff, some of it is going to go towards EMS. And it's the sheriff's department.
Expanding services type thing?
Yeah, offsetting the services that they're already providing. One of the big things or at least the noted statements in there was that 1/3 of the volume of the calls for EMS in the summertime are for vacationers.
Sure.
So that was kind of an offset for that.
Yeah.
Not sure, I don't see the financials or whatever, but it's like, I would imagine insurance would pay a little bit, but you never know.
Yeah, I know Bill Sample personally. He runs a lot of those search and rescue operations, and I said, break it down for me. Who's falling off the mountains? And he says 40% of them are out of staters. I was like, okay, I thought it would be more than that. And he goes, another 40% are Coloradans that get search and rescue. You figured they would know better, but and then the remaining 20% are locals. Yeah. So people they just. People fly in or I talk to them on the street, they're like, yeah, we're going to go hike Chavano or something. And it's like, listen, if you're not at the trailhead as the sun's coming up, you're too late, Jack. I said, it might be blue skies and sunny now, but dude, you're in for a treat because that mountain weather changes like that. So
not only that, but at least the time frame that I worked on EMS, a common thing that I would say that people did was they'd get up and then they would look down and go, oh, there's a shortcut here.
Oh, God.
And it's like, man, I don't know, hunting, doing that stuff, it's like, you don't do that.
No.
You go back the way you came.
That's right.
For sure. So another thing we're voting on is the F Street closure.
Yeah.
Which in a lot of conversations, like it seems like a 3-year commitment, it's a do or die. If it doesn't work in those 3 years, this is never a discussion again.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. I honestly can't believe that it's going on the ballot. I mean, it is now. I respect that. The people are going to vote. I remember Drew Nelson. I remember when they first started closing them, they said, yeah. We went to all the businesses on F Street. It's almost unanimous. Everybody wants to close it. Well, I know Mike Almeida at Ruby Blues personally. I know Yolanda Walton at YOLO when she was running it personally. Yeah. They said not once did anyone from the city come in and ask us. They said, oh, no, we emailed you. We didn't get an email. Oh, no, we called you. No, you never called us. So it's like this, like I said, government transparency. This is very simple, guys. Like, what did they say? What do the people that this is going to affect literally their livelihood say about this subject? So, it's going to go on the ballot, and we'll see what happens. I know, I've talked to a couple friends that own businesses on F Street, and they said they'll probably vote no on it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm curious. So I'm curious what, because it seems unanimously that it's coming up that it needs to be closed, and the unanimous decision is that people want it closed. The people that you talk to,
sure,
what are they saying?
Well, this person that still has a business on F Street, she says she doesn't want it closed.
And what was her, or this person's reasoning?
I think she just wants to feel it out. See, we've had it closed a couple years now. She's gonna, but there's just so many factors. Who saw the city getting this tidal wave of sales tax like after COVID or during COVID? I remember Drew Nelson was getting on these Zoom calls like, we are up 35%. That is gangbusters, guys. 30, and then it was like the next year we're up again another 35%. It's like, holy cow! I thought the economy was crippled. Like, what's going on? So,
do you think everybody forgot to look at the fact that COVID shut down international flights everywhere? Sure. Everybody bought an RV.
Right.
Where did everybody come to?
The mountains.
The mountains.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, personally, I would say, I feel like the county, the cities did a pretty dang good job of the COVID era.
Sure.
Like, hey, we're going to do the social distancing thing, but, we're good, right? Yeah. Which then people were coming from out of the area and set up camp and
legitimately.
A lot of them, they're like, well, just don't come back to the office. And they're like, I'm going to Salida.
Yeah.
You know, they get the Starlink or fiber internet, and that's it. God bless them, man. You know, I mean,
They're here now.
yeah, I was back at work. You know, I worked twice as hard during COVID. You know, it was like, you know, I was a little sore. People, you know, they were getting, you know, God bless them. You know, if you lost your job because of COVID, yeah, sure, that, you know, you should have been reimbursed for that. You should have got a grant, whatever. But man, me and Jay, we were running around doing house calls, you know, masking up. Like it was, dude, there was a lot of work because everybody was working remote for the county, you know, so they had to have remote access into their file servers so they could access the building plans and, you know, legal stuff. And man, it was, I remember our network admin, we had this guy, Al, just total brainiac, new network stuff. I mean, that's like its own special IT. He's like, dude, you know, he's like, all these people working remote, he goes, watch, when they tell them to come back, they're not going to, they've had a taste of the good life being at home. And sure as heck, the county's like, you guys need to get back, you know, and, you know, I don't blame them, but, yeah, it was like pulling teeth with, you know, a few of the people for the county. It was like, yeah, you got to come back to work, man. I know you're doing work at home, but you got to come back to the office. And, you know, especially stuff like, you know, elections and the clerk's office, you know, people need to get their car tags. You got to, I mean, they were good about it. They were back immediately, but man, it was wild times, guys. It was just, I can't believe it's in 5 years.
Yeah.
It's interesting to say that because during that time I was working on the ambulance, and I would say the same feeling is everybody was just doing their thing, and there were some of us that were showing up every day.
Every day, dude. Every day.
It was an interesting time. And then
for sure,
I think Colorado as a whole kind of wrapped it all up, and then you'd go other places and you'd be like, whoa, you guys are still doing this.
You're still doing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, and I took it, I mean, it was serious at the time. It was like, holy cow. Like, I remember I was, you know, at the bike shop talking to the boys at a distance, and there was these guys from one of the, you know, red counties, you know, like everybody was infected, and they're like, they were in town, like, we were like, what are you doing here, dude? Like, you're not supposed to be traveling right now. And it was wild, man, for sure.
Do you think that's something that has continued that creates a divide, or what do you think really kind of wedges itself in the Salida culture that creates a divide for those that would be voting on 1A, on the F Street closure? Like, is there like a true line that divides people?
Yeah, I mean, I hate social media. I have a Instagram, that's it. You know, I know people, you know, I skateboard all around the world. I meet people, and that's how we talk. And then even like local people. But no, I mean, people, they gotta get away from that computer. They gotta put that phone down. And I mean, not do a podcast, but just go talk to people. Man, go talk to the hotel owners or the Airbnb guys and be like, hey, how do you feel about this? You know, sell me on why you're voting, if they're voting no on it. Just have some civil discourse, man. Like us, you know, like going door to door. People, you know, whether I agree with them or not, we had a positive conversation, and I think we can all do that. Listen, we're all in this together. Yeah. We all want everybody to. I hope you want everybody to prosper. Let's find some common ground. Like, tell me what, you know, and it's like, if you read it on Facebook or something, or you hear something from somebody that might not necessarily be the way it is. So just. You know, just talk about it, man. Get out there. Talk to your neighbors about it. Go make a friend. You know, go walk around in the park.
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
For sure.
No, this is rad, boys. I love it.
This whole thing is literally to bring everybody back to the table and have a conversation.
Yeah, that's it. If everyone's yelling, nothing's getting done. You know what?
Don't think of the person across the table or across the aisle as your enemy. Like, there's common ground. Find it and let's work our way through it. Absolutely. Yeah. I know, like, obviously, so having those connections within the county since 2018, kind of going forward, do you feel that kind of gives you a leg up when in winning the mayoral election to be able to kind of swoop in and really kind of hit the ground running to make sure that there's great communication continuing, and then the vision of what Salida is, which I'm curious, like, what do you see in the next 5 years?
Absolutely.
You know, how do you keep driving Salida towards that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the intergovernmental connections I've made. I mean, it's a bummer. Like a lot of the guys I was working for and with have retired or moved on or something. But I still, I know I'd say the majority of the people working for the county. I think that's a real asset that I bring to the table. I mean, I've proven over my years working, as a contractor for the county. Now I work for the county at the airport. I get along with everyone, man. I'm there to do a job.
Yeah.
I'll take that same energy into the city. Like I've said in a couple of these, interviews, like I'm going top down, like just like I did with the county. I'm talking to every department head from the management all the way down to the guy that just started. Like, hey, what's going on? What is this? What do you need from the city? What can I do? What's working? What's not? Let's streamline this process. Make it more efficient. Everyone can do a better job. Like I said at the League of Women Voters, my favorite thing to hear is, well, that's the way we've always done things. And it's like, dude, maybe it works. Maybe it is perfect.
Yeah.
Let's look at it, man. We can always do better,
I think a lot of times people will say that and completely stifle even looking at, is this the way that we should be continuing to do it?
Sure.
And then there's also the other side of things where people dive like, okay, well, if that's all the way, the only way that you've ever done it, we've got to try another way.
Sure.
And they work really, really hard not trying to make that not work.
Sure.
And make something else work.
Yeah, and then there's all, if everyone's running in a different direction, trying to make,
There's always got to be a compromise.
Yeah, I've always liked, like, the slacker at, like, jobs, because he's found a way to get his job done. Sometimes cutting corners, you shouldn't cut corners, but he's found a faster way, more efficient way because he's a slacker, So you can look at, stuff like that and be like, hey, he's got some good ideas. So, I'm up to listen to anyone, I'm all ears on how to make the city run as smoothly as possible. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to meeting everyone if I get elected. And, I'm not an expert on a lot of them. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. So I'm all, if you're an expert on land use code, I got time. You got time for me? Let's do it. I'm a fast learner. I'm a tenacious reader. I pick up stuff quick. I mean, I didn't know anything about airplanes when I started at the airport. And now, I do everything out there, soup to nuts, run the plow when it's snowing, fuel the jets. We fix the the furnace, I mean, we just do everything. We don't outsource anything, which is, the three guys we got there, myself included, we got the all-star team.
That's awesome.
Everybody's working. We're all striving to make the airport the best. So,
What do you think? So I find this interesting because this is a conversation that comes up quite often in some of the circles that I talk in. Is they always talk about Aspen Airport, Vail, or that Eagle County Airport, right, being full, always full. They need places to put the jets.
Yeah.
How do we, as a city, county, how do we attract that business?
Sure. I mean, there are some limitations. Our runway is east-west. It's 6 and 2-4. And if you don't know, those are magnetic headings. So, 0 would be dead north.
Okay.
180 would be dead south, but they dropped the 0, so it'd be 18. And then, 27 would be direct west. So we're east to west, and the reason it is east to west is because the prevailing winds, the coverage they call it in aviation, 87% of the time that wind is blowing right down the runway, and that's what you want.
Okay.
It's nice that we have BV's airport. It's 14 nautical miles north of us, and they're north-south. So if you got a ripping crosswind here, you can always go, hopefully you can go land in BV, because you always want to be landing into the wind. The length of the runway, Zach's going to kill me, 7,438 feet, I believe. So that, the FAA, I think, says you can have light jets. I think it's either a Class C or a D, so you can't get the commercial stuff. I know they have scheduled services with like United out of there, but we can get some pretty big birds in there. NetJets flies in, FlexJets flies in. This is charter stuff.
Yeah.
No, we've seen, Challengers, Praetor 300s, Gulfstream 4s. I mean, you can get big jets in our airport.
How do we attract those?
I mean, they're coming, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it when these charters come in. They'll take on anywhere from 400 to 1,000 gallons of jet fuel, and I believe it's about 87% of our revenue stream at the airport is fuel cells. We're a fancy gas station,
Yeah.
so when these guys are paying $5,000 in jet fuel, I'm not getting a cent of that, but
Right.
the airport is,
Right.
the county is, the city is. And they, I think it was CDOT Aeronautics did this comprehensive study on airports in Colorado. This Harvard whiz economist, they kind of broke it down, the economic impact of these small airports. And I don't know the exact numbers, but it's over $1 million a year from people flying into Salida, and then they go stay at a hotel.
Right.
They come, I know guys that come here.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, we're
Yeah.
going to the gun shop. I'm like, awesome, dude. So we're bringing in this. The airport is central. UPS flies in 5 days a week. CPW, they do their fish drops. They load up the fish and go into the high alpine lakes and drop them. That's awesome. They contract these Hughes helicopters that are ultra nimble with a guy with a harness that hangs out the side with a net gun. It shoots a 308 blank. They net the elk, pronghorn, mule deer, anything with 4 legs. Usually during the winter because it's less stress on the animal.
Yeah.
They're not overheating and all that. I love CPW. It's a government organization I fully support. I believe they're in the black every year. It's a $365 million budget. They spend $1 million a day, canvassing the animals, checking the populations, chronic wasting disease. I'm all for it. When I pay for my hunt tags, I'm like, money well spent. Even if I'm not successful, I support those. And when they're there, Brian and the guys are there. They're always super nice, real respectful. It's a pleasure to have them.
It's a group of people that are paid to do a job, and they do the job.
They do the job, and they're
show
passionate.
up.
So, I love anybody that loves their job, and those guys 100%. Anytime I got to go to the office, I got a question or something, they're always super helpful. So, UC Health flies in and out of our airport. So, God forbid there's a medical emergency where they've got to be evacuated. They fly in like a Pilatus PC-12, but they also have the Reach 29 helicopter. We supply all the fuel to those guys. They don't have a above ground or underground tank, probably because it's a permitting nightmare. But Chris at the Sinclair station, A1 Auto, they drive a trailer, a fuel trailer for them because it's hazmat, and you got to have all the licenses for that. And they're probably our best customer. Reach at the I'd say on average they get 400 gallons a week, every Tuesday. Cliff picks it up most of the time. Chris comes himself sometimes, but no, I mean there's people are like, oh, it's a rich guy's. It's like, no, they're just like you and me. You can buy an airplane. Granted, it's probably pretty beat up for like $50,000.
Yeah.
That's less than a new truck nowadays.
Yes.
So. It's just, some people like muscle cars and building, souping up cars. These guys like working on planes and building planes. And no, like I said, the economic impact study, and get you guys a copy of it. I mean, it's like, this is it. These are the metrics. This is how they can prove it. Aviation is up. We have a flight school there now. I mean, you can go sign up. You can go fly tomorrow, if they have time. But we've got 2 leased rental aircraft. Seven Peaks Aviation is the outfit. These hotshot kids out of Rangeley, it's a big aviation school, and they are flying, like almost 7 days a week. Which,
No way.
so I mean, the airport we're supporting all this. Barry Cole, he's got like a staff of 5 now. His hangar is just full of planes. They're either installing the glass panels in. You have to do an annual on your aircraft every year, which means take it apart, put it back together. Even if it's working fine.
Yeah.
And that's why you look at a Cessna on the ramp, it's like from the 60s because they've torn that thing down every year and put it back. If we did that with our cars, they would so And you also don't want airplanes falling out of the sky, you know. So no, I went into the airport as a part timer. I was the weekend guy. I worked weekends for 3 years. While I was still working IT, I was like, I need to get out of the office, stop staring at a screen all day. You know, I operate heavy machinery.
Yep.
You know, I know everybody. Like, I know everybody at the airport on a first name basis. It's just a good group of guys, man. And, you know, I went into that job not knowing anything about aviation. And now, you know, I'm pretty well versed.
For sure.
I feel like that would be a place to funnel tax money for bigger gross.
Yeah.
Is that not?
I mean, you know, it's sales tax. That is how this county, you know, or this town runs. People try to skip around it. That's the bread and butter, guys. So yeah, all the aviation. And Zach, my manager, shout out Zach, he has done a phenomenal job of getting grant funding, you know, from CDOT Aeronautics, from the FAA. I'm telling you, he is relentless on developing and getting the airport, you know, more modernized. And we just extended the taxiway 2,000 feet. It'd be nice if it was full length, budgetary constraints, but you know, so with the taxiway that doesn't go full length, you've got aircraft back taxing on an it's a safety concern. So, you know, ideally you want a full length taxiway so you limit the amount of airplanes on an active when either somebody's taking off or landing. So that was huge. You know, they got DOLA grants for that. So let me back up. The airport is jointly owned by the city and the county. I'm a county employee. The city pays half the bills, and we have an airport advisory board. So there's the county, the city, and airport advisory board, and then the state, and then the FAA. Right. So there's a lot of people watching. But you know, knock on wood, we've never had any incidents. You know, we've never had any misfuels. Year after year, I've been there 4 years as of October 17th. We have grown all 4 of those years. Just a coincidence I worked there.
That's big.
That's huge.
No, I mean I think we have sold over 80,000 gallons of fuel this year. You know, I mean, and when I first started there, it was in the 60s. So I mean, year after year, more and more people, and it's great, man. It's people come in. You know, I'll meet them out on, or you know, me or one of the staff will meet them out on the ramp. You know, your chalky was like, "Hey, man, welcome to Salida. What can we do for you?" Sometimes they just need fuel. They call it the $100 hamburger in aviation. So people will fly from Denver to Salida, take one of our crew cars. We have cars that you can sign out with a driver's license, go into town, spend money. And I kind of push them. I'm like, hey man, there's a lot of great restaurants downtown. Go get some brunch or whatever. You know, go park on F Street, walk down, check out the town if you know you're not in a hurry. So we're like the first point of contact for a lot of people visiting Salida for the first time, and they come back, they're like, wow, dude, this town is amazing. I've had people flying and they are moving here now. You know, the Jordans, they're building a hangar. So, you know, they're going to be leasing the land from the county. It's a 20-year land lease. They're going to have based aircraft here. More based aircraft, more federal funding, more fuel cells because they've got to fuel up and fly out. So, I mean, it just pays into itself. And, you know, the more that the county and the city invest into the airport, I mean, the more it's going to thrive. I mean, it's you know, that's it.
I'd be curious over the last 4 years, like what is the return on investment that with the grant funding, the DOLA, all that stuff, it's got to be ridiculous. And you can't even factor in the amount of people that go from the airport to downtown or even decide that, hey, we're going to stay. Like those are things like why do we not hear more about that? I
mean, I tell you, half the people I talk to don't even know Salida has an airport. It's shocking. Yeah. So I mean, I know that the city put up new signs that say airport. I took a picture. I'm like, look, Zach, we got signs now. So, I mean, that's good. But no, I mean, you know, it's me, it's Zach, it's Justin, it's all the other pilots out there. I mean, we're spreading the good word. You know, it's like.
Here's another thing. Is there any opportunity for advertising for the downtown businesses, for businesses and Jeep rentals, like this stuff like that out there?
No, we've
potential for that.
We got all the machines and the crew cars. Decaled. So, I mean, we have a minivan now, which is sweet because sometimes, you know, like big groups of big planes will come in. We got a minivan now. So they could take, and it's got, you know, Salida Airport. You know, we wanted to do like cards, like, you know, the business brought to you by the airport. We flew in. But, you know, I make it a point to be like, hey, man, when you're going there and you talk to these people, be like, hey, we flew in. You know, we stopped at the airport. They gave us a car. We're here now. You know, just like, so the business is like, yeah, dude, we're doing this. And like when people ask for recommendations, I spread it around. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh yeah, go to Mojo's. It's on the east side of town. Or they're like, yeah, we want to sit on the river. I'm like, High Side or the boathouse. You know, go there. So, you know, I spread it around. I'm like, what are you looking for? Like, we like a pizza. You know, I'm like, what kind of pizza? So, no, it's.
Being an advocate for this community is, I think, a huge strong point for you. Like, in understanding, like,
I'm Salida's biggest hype man.
like, yeah, you feel like now, you know, put into a position of being that hype man, continuing to be that hype man as a mayor, as somebody that understands like where the money needs to go, where the communication faults could be. You know, I think that's going to be huge. For the city and I mean for the county. I mean we're always looking at the county as a whole and the little bits, you know, Poncha, Buena Vista, Salida, Nathrop, like all those, like the growth that we're seeing in the county. It all hinges off of, you know, how the government in itself and as a whole is able to communicate and hype itself up.
Absolutely,
I sat in on the Visitors Bureau this last Tuesday or whatever. And, you know, numbers are down. You know, the 1A is a huge thing for them. And it's just like how they do a great job of getting funds and grants and other stuff for the community, for the county. And it's just like, okay, where else can this go? Like, how can this feed Salida better? How can this, you know, benefit Poncha Springs? How can this benefit? So I like the idea of the airport, you know, continuing to grow over the next, you know, 5 years and kind of seeing where that goes.
That's great, man. The sky's the limit, pun intended. It's great, man. And you know, we won Airport of the Year last year, and there's 68 public use airports, and it's kind of a big deal. It's like a flex for sure that we got it from.
What?
I mean, we beat Denver. We beat, you know, and it's based on capital improvements, which Zach has done a phenomenal job. You know, number of based aircraft, hangars being built. You know, we do the Young Eagles program. You got kids, we'll get them up in an airplane. It's like the first one's free. They'll be hooked for life. You know,
how old do you have to be for that? Is 45 too old?
No, we'll get you up. Come on, I swear, I'll get you up on a plane. You come out there and visit me, I'll get you up with someone. Nah, yeah, it's great, man. I'm awesome, like, dude, I'm like that. You know, people say like, oh, if you love your job, you'll never do a day's. Look, I'd work hard out there, guys. Like, I mean, it's like owning a 211-acre ranch. There's you know, always something to do. The fencing, you know, wildlife are always trying to get in there.
From one end to the other, you got to start back over.
Oh man, yeah. So dude, I'm proud of it. I go to work every day. I'm like, this is nice, dude. And people that fly in, they're like, y'all got a nice airport. I'm like, I know. And I've flown all over the state. I've been to, you know, dozens of small public use airports. Ours is the nicest, guys. I'm telling you, fly in. Some of them, the weeds are overgrown. There's, you know, prairie dogs on the runway. The lights aren't working. You know, I'm not going to name any names, but we got a nice airport. It's dialed, and it's because we care. Me, Zach, and Justin, we really care about that place, and you know, we take care of it like it's our own. It's like, you know.
Well, you're setting a bar so high, like safety, right?
That's the name of the game.
With our shop too, the same thing: safety training, like taking care of the customers. Like it might be rude at sometimes, but man, if it's not safe, it's not.
It ain't
not
flying.
Welcome.
Nope.
So that's awesome.
No, yeah, and I extend the branch out to a lot of my friends that don't shoot, and I said, listen, before we even take a gun case out of the car or anything, we're going to talk about, you know, how to safely operate, you know, out here at the gun range etiquette, you know, trigger discipline, where that muzzle is pointed at all times, you know, like, so I get it, man. It's critically important. I mean, because there's one, I mean, it only takes, you know, one mistake to change your life. So that's right.
I like that.
Kind of getting it back in here, I guess. What are some of the things that you've come across in your town hall meet and greets and that type of stuff? Have you found to be the major like issues that Salida is dealing with?
Oh, 100% the workforce housing, 100%. I mean, it's at every door. I was on G Street last week, and I was like, hey, how do you feel about workforce housing, the government's responsibility, the Salida government? He goes, Ethan, it's an obligation. Like, you guys have got to do something. You needed to do something yesterday. It has got to be done. So I'm pretty excited about the Vanderveer stuff. You know, like, they keep saying like X number of units is going to be affordable or whatever. And, you know, everyone's like, well, what's affordable? I want it in writing. I want it in writing. I want these developers. I'm like, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. We have got to do something. I mean,
do you think that also stems from the red tape and the delays that the building, you know, obviously we need to uphold standards, right?
Sure, absolutely.
But there are some things in the, you know, building code and stuff that are, I would say, just absolutely worthless.
A lot of red tape, yeah.
Like, and to say that this is budgeted for this amount, and now we have added this extra red tape, and now we're still building it, but now instead of the price point being here, we chucked it up to this.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm gonna go to the building, planning, zoning, like, what can we do legally? What can we do to streamline this process? Man, I mean, people, you know, anytime I get a call like, hey man, you know, can I borrow your truck? You guys, if you own a truck, you know, you're helping people move, which I don't mind, guys. Call me anytime. No, it's such a bummer. It's like, I'm moving out of town, dude. I can't afford it anymore. So it's like, golly, we got to do something. You know, people talk about the community and this, that, and it's like, dude, that is the community. It's the people that freaking work here. If the businesses don't have anybody that can live here, they're going to collapse. You know, it's just everything plays, it all goes down to housing and having something. I mean, I can't control the price of a 2x4. I wish I could. But what I can do is ease the burden, the barrier to entry to get this stuff freaking built, guys. Like, let's do it. You know, it's like these developers, I want to sit down with them and be like, dude, do the right thing. You could be a freaking hero in this town. People would be like, that guy didn't make millions off of this development or something. He's still, I mean, it's a business. I've owned a business. It's about that bottom line, guys. You're not doing this for charity. Make a little less or make the money on the other units or something. I don't know. It's just like, do the right thing, please.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these developers are looked at as villains and stuff because they're just like, I'm out. You know, you see them pull in the new Ram 5500s, you know, $100,000 truck. You know, it's like, God bless them, man, but do the right thing, man. You know, altruism's a tough concept, you know, doing something because it's the right thing to do. And then even like talking about it is not altruism, but it's like, God, man, I'd like to see something done. And I'd like to look at these developers and be like, you're the man. Thank you for that.
Right.
You helped people out. I mean, you helped families out. You helped people flipping your burger out. You helped the people picking up your trash out. You helped the cops out.
Yeah.
You helped, I mean, everybody that like runs this town, man. I mean, if you didn't get here 20 years ago, it's like, and I've heard it from people. It's like, well, you know, I got here 20 years ago, so they're on their own. It's like, dude, that's cruel, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this town was like rafters and artists and, you know, like, and now it's like all those people are being priced out. Like, wait a second, like these people
work hard, play hard, be able to stay here.
There's got to be some middle ground. You know, there's got to be.
I guess what is crazy to me is we have a housing factory.
Oh yeah, the fading west
in the county, right? And there's a lot of discussion about workforce housing and developments and stuff like that. And I feel like as a whole, like I believe Fading West does a lot of development style stuff for other counties. I don't know. I don't know how that stuff works, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, man, we have like a factory in this town.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, you can eliminate like the shipping and logistics and stuff. It's right there. You know, I mean, that's got to cut into the cost. But also, you know, I was talking to a guy who's a lot smarter than me, which isn't hard to do. He's like, no, I mean, they built that out there, but this is like one of the worst places to build something. I mean, everything's so expensive around here, but you're trying to build something affordable. So, I mean, I'm glad they're out there. They've created a lot of jobs. I had the pleasure of touring the factory one time. This guy, Christopher, that owns Settings, they set up the tents and stuff. We were setting up. I was giving him a hand one day on like one of my days off, and they were like, oh, you want to check it out? Because we were setting up tables and chairs for them. And it is like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory for homes built. They're on like a hockey table pads. They can have 4 people push one of these modular units around. So it goes over here to electrical. And they're just, and then it goes over to plumbing. It is cool, man. It is very cool. It's just, they've got these giant gantry cranes and stuff they can pick the trusses and stuff up with. It was cool, man. It was a real treat to take a tour of the place.
Workforce housing is
That's it. I mean,
the main.
Yeah, and it's that, and then the short-term rental stuff. It was less spicy of a topic, but it was so crazy to walk. You knock on the door like, yeah, you gotta, these short-term rentals, they're destroying the community and this, that, and the other, and then you'll go next door and like, y'all got to quit picking on us. I'm a short-term rental. So, I mean, I'm talking literally neighbors. One is like, you got to get rid of, you got to tax them more, this, that, and the other. And then the other ones are like, leave us alone. You're taxing us out of a business. So,
How many short-term rentals are in Salida?
There's quite a few.
Because there's a cap.
Yeah, in different areas, there's different caps. And I know the county did I don't want to say informal, but I think it was Debbie was calling around getting prices for all these short-term rentals and stuff. And I think the average at the time, this is years ago, was $187 for a 2-bedroom. And then it was $420 for a 4-bedroom. And we were talking about the inspection fees the county does for short-term rentals. And it used to be $500, and they knocked it down to $250, and I'm just running the computer. I'm like kind of unbiased, and I'm like, well, I did the math real quick. They're kind of making that inspection fee, in 2 or 3 nights. Yeah. Like, so I don't know, and I remember they knocked it down from $5 to $250. I'm pretty sure it was years ago.
What's also crazy, like the thing that you don't think about, and the only reason why I know this is people that I know. The inspection is the actual fire department going out and inspecting it. Yeah. So you have a crew of people or multiple people that have to go out there and actually go through the whole thing in their day-to-day.
Pulling
and
away
if they
from
have,
resources.
10, 20, who knows? I don't know how many are out there, but that's a lot of inspections, which then almost creates its own other department of the department.
Yes.
Right?
More bureaucracy, yes.
So you're just like, holy cow, that there's a lot that's required there.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'd be interested to see how many people are doing it like off the radar, I mean, how many people are running things, on the side. Right. It's like, that ain't cool, dude. No.
You're,
you
need
people
to be at risk at the minimum.
So I said, I'm coming for you, you black market Airbnbs or whatever.
Nice. So the Airbnb. So okay, what would be the next one that people are talking about?
Deer.
The deer.
Yeah, the town deer come up a lot, which is fun. It's like,
really?
Well, what would you have me do? Honestly, I'm all ears. It's kind of tongue in cheek. I say, yeah, we should introduce their natural predators, some mountain lions in town. Like, Joe, I'm not going to do that. But it's like, they're if you live here, they're kind of annoying. I honk at them and people, why are you honking at them? It's like, well, when you don't honk at them, you're teaching these deer that every car is going to stop. And I'm telling you, I'm an avid hunter. The last thing I want to see is a deer with a buck with its leg broke or it's like, dude, that ruins my freaking day. So, honk at the deer, spook them. They shouldn't be used to cars.
That comes up a lot.
It's
actually
funny.
interesting.
Yeah. property tax. People are like, don't bring back property tax, so that's another hot topic.
Okay.
No, and I think, from a financial side, I don't want to raise any taxes. I don't think we need to be taxing people anymore. There's a lot of fixed income old folks here.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to affect them drastically. I think there's a lot of money in this town. I just think, there's always a better way of divvying that pie up, a more equitable, efficient way. I know there is. And I'm really looking forward to digging in and finding those, those gems, those hidden gems in the county's budget or the city's budget.
I have one last subject that I wanted to go over, and it's, are we tapping into Colorado Mountain College, CMC, enough for this community? Because I look at it as like the nursing program. Is there a flight school program that could bolster what we offer here? Is there, look at those that are retiring here, are coming of age, they need assisted living, or just don't want to take care of things. Like, being able to create a place to train, live, and work.
That
would be huge.
Fantastic. Yeah, keep it. A self-sufficient community. We're creating jobs. Those once you get out of school, you've got a job. Come here. You're supporting the community. You're helping out. So I'm all for that. It sounds amazing.
And is that something that has to come from CMC, or is that something that Salida or the county could push or bolster or promote more to get things, streamlined or promote more?
Sure. Yeah, I think, if they're already not on it, get those three entities in a room. Who's making these decisions? We're all in this together. This will be mutually beneficial for the three entities, the city, the county, and CMC.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think something we don't want to gloss over is the fact that you're wearing a Leadville 100.
Oh, good. Yeah, this whole thing. Yeah,
I think
with my time on it, sub 10, if you can see that.
Yeah, belt buckle in the house.
Yeah. Fantastic
awesome.
event.
Yeah.
The guys that put it on. There was a mandatory rider meeting, and I've raced years ago. I've raced a lot. But I'm like, okay, I'll go, it's a safety meeting or something. But it was like a hype video, and they're like, it's a mining town. They started that race after the Climax mine collapsed. And that was like, 90% of the economy was the mining there. So I think Leadville's an awesome town. I love visiting there. You couldn't pay me to live there in the winter, but it's just, just a fantastic event. And that, let's do something like that. Let's put on a bike race that brings people from around the world there. There were 2,000 people racing that this year. Anyway, back to the hype video. There's this, emphasis on mining. That the slogan is "dig deep." I'm like, dig deep. I'm like, this is corny. Let me tell you, boys. Hour 8, I'm out there. I'm like, dig deep, Ethan. Dig deep.
Get it.
I'm like, I swear, it like touched me. I'm like, this is intense. Dig deep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you also said, so you came out of retirement.
Yeah. I used to race in Florida. I've done a few races in Colorado, but I haven't raced since like 2016, I think.
And you trained for how long for this?
Just from about May. I started training in May because I'm a fair weather guy. I'm from Florida. I don't like being cold. So in May, I got on my road bike and I just grind it out, So pretty minimal training.
Pure athlete.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I got great genes.
And you're going to do it again.
I think so. I want to do it sub 9 and then never again. I entered through the lottery through some of the guys at the airport. They're like, oh, we signed up for the Leadville. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Anyway, I signed up. I'm the only one that got in. So all the other guys.
No way.
But they went
through the credentials.
Nope.
Oh.
So, it's a lottery system, and I started dead last. So I had to muscle my way through. I think I ended up passing like 1,400 people. You got 105 miles to do it. But it was... So the two things I learned, do a qualifier race so you don't start dead last, because that was a nightmare worming my way through. And then get off the bike to eat. I'm like, I'm not stopping. and you're trying to stuff your face with these like space foods, you know, and then chew and then try to breathe. And it was, listen to me, it was time, you know, breathing, and it just get off the bike, eat your food, get back on the bike and go. Because, you know, I never bonked, you know, I never ran into ketosis, but boys, I was glad to get off that bike after the finish line. And then Zach, coincidentally, was flying with his girlfriend and his mom in Leadville, and they came to the finish line. That meant a lot, man.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, oh, you guys showed up. Because
awesome.
I was out there just by myself, just some Florida man riding through the mountains. So that meant a lot, you know, just somebody there, you know, at the finish line. And,
That's so good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was rad. You guys should sign up. Go do it.
Qualifier.
Yeah, listen, you got 12 hours. That's, I don't know, what's that, 8 mile an hour average or something to do it?
It's all flat too, right?
No, it's
no?
just, you're like just up the whole time. My God.
What was the winner? What did they complete it in?
His name's Keegan Swinson, I believe, and he's a monster. He did it in sub 6, like 5 something.
Whoa.
So put that in perspective.
Dang.
Holy cow.
He's a monster. And then the women's record got broke this year too, which stood for like a decade. I think she was Swedish, like pro cyclist came and did it and just torched the record and was like, all right, I'm done. And like never did it again. And then, yeah, this year, Caitlin, or I can't think of her name, but yeah, she broke the record. So hats off to her. She smoked my tires.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Man.
Yeah.
What's better for Salida, right? Like, you completed the Leadville 100.
Yeah.
Sounds like you fit in. All right. You got a good plan, good basis.
Yeah. No, I'm a good, honest guy. I work for a living. You know, I never cheated anyone. I'm really looking out for Salida. You know.
It
Good
welcomed
direction.
you, and you've
That's
treated
it. No,
well.
yeah. I go back to Jason. I mean, he's like, yeah, just move in with me. I'll give you a job. And I was like, and then I started hanging. They're all from like the Northeast, like Massachusetts and Maine and stuff. And I was just hanging out with those guys with their Yankee accents, you know. No, but they all took me in. I'm like, this town's rad, dude. I mean, this guy, I had a few friends, but no, I mean, they just welcomed me, and you know, I pay that forward. New people I meet in town, I'm like, yo, welcome, man. Like, come skateboard with me.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
That's the culture. That's the culture. Yeah. Right.
That's it. No, everybody's very welcoming and kind, and I'd like to see that remain. Salida's vibe, you know.
I like it. Thank you. I really do appreciate you.
No, this
being on
is
and
so
visiting with
rad.
us.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
buddy.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you.
Yeah. And if you guys like content like this, go ahead and make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and put a comment out there. And
Don't forget to vote.
Yeah, get out there and vote.